I I have this is designed for a man. Look at that. Okay. Um, well, welcome. This is my first time teaching. Well, actually, no, it's my second time teaching Rise, but my first time doing buyers. So, Cameron's not lying though. I do work with a lot of buyers. I am good at working with buyers. And so yeah. Um, can we just start with names? David, but do you go by Dave?
Either one.
Really?
Yeah, honestly, more people used to call me Dave.
Okay.
Like,
I feel like when I talk about you, I say Dave, but
yeah,
then in phone you're David, so don't wanna. And then what's your name?
Elias.
Elias.
Sure.
Sir.
Sir.
Dieter.
Oh. And Dieter. Yeah.
That's great. Cool. So Dieter, Elias, Dave, Bailey. Yes. Okay, how long have you guys all been in the biz? I know you're like July, August. You were August.
Been waiting 6 days for my license now.
So you passed the test, but you don't have the license yet. Love it. Love it. Okay, well, congrats. Passing the test is huge.
Well, that's the hoping it would be sooner than that.
Have you reached out to anybody over there yet? Okay.
I don't even remember. What do you wait for? I'm like, oh, okay. Okay, cool. Cameron just left me with, not sure if I was supposed to use this. By the end of the session, you should feel confident leading a complete buyer consultation. You should understand the structure, know what to say and do, and be equipped with buyer packet you can personalize and use with real clients. So here's the thing. You can use a fancy presentation. What I have found in my business is that each client I work with is so different, so I have to cater things directly to them that it's anyway. So I have a fancy packet that you can flip through and stuff, but the amount of times that I use that versus I just kind of wing it is not wing it, but you know what I mean? Like I don't oftentimes. I work with a lot of my friends and family who already know me, so I don't need to go through a whole packet, if that makes sense. However, I think the PC team has a packet that you can take and just edit things so that it's for yourself. So that's cool. But I wanted to just walk through how I usually hold a buyer presentation and then dive into the actual buyer broker contract. Because when I first started in real estate, I was like, I don't know, I just was like, okay, here's the contract, and I have since learned that people should know what they're signing. And so I like to now walk people through step by step what the contract is. Okay. I have had my license for 6 years and I was doing assisting work 4 years before that. So I've been in the business for close to 10 years, but I've only been licensed for 6. So there's that. Yeah, I prefer buyers, if I'm being honest. Yeah, I just think buyers are the best. So the first part of my buyer presentation is I call the discovery mode, where we just sit down and I just ask them a whole bunch of questions. And I preface it, with hey, this is gonna feel like I'm asking a whole lot of questions, but just bear with me, right? So this is my discovery question worksheet. You can again, this is just a preface for, this is one that I put together for brand new buyers. I didn't know them. They were a referral from a past client. I had no idea their life situation. I had no idea their goals. I had no idea any of that. So I was like, hey, we're going into this and we're just I just have to know them, right? So I walked through, and we'll go, Cameron wants me to go through the whole presentation. So I'll sit down and have one of you be my buyer and we can go through it. But I'm just gonna walk you through what it looks like right now really quick. So So the discovery mode where we ask them. Then I say, okay, thanks for telling me everything about yourself. Are you okay if I sit down and I just tell you a little bit about me and why, I am passionate about what I do, why I love what I do. And then I go into, here's me, here's why you should trust me with this process for you and your family. And then I go into the contract and get the contract signed and say, here. So when I first started in real estate, I used to say, okay, okay. Let me back up. Before before the whole lawsuit, I'm assuming you guys are all familiar with the lawsuit and how we have to have BBA signed now before you show a house. No? It's great.
Taking the course.
Yeah.
A lot of talk about how important it is.
Yeah.
Signs.
Yeah. So before August of last year, so it's been about a year now, you could just go show houses to any willy-nilly. And so I a lot of times would just go, again, I work a lot with my friends and family, and so I would just go start showing houses, and then by the time it's like, hey, we want to make an offer, then that's when I would get the buyer broker agreement signed. Now you have to have a buyer broker agreement signed before you even walk through the house with them. For any showing. There were people that were mad, and I actually don't know how I'm not an attorney. I'm just a realtor. But there were people that were mad, and it wasn't even in the state of Utah, but they sued NAR because, I mean, everyone says it differently, because realtors were getting paid too much, or because, so it was over commissions and agency agreements. And so now we're not allowed to publicize like a buyer broker, or oh my gosh, a buyer's agent commission. So normally, or in the past, it's been on the MLS sheet where it's like at the bottom, like BAC to be 3%, to be 2%, and now they're not allowed to say that at all. And you just have to ask for it. I'm not sure how that ties into the whole buyer broker agreement.
Same lawsuit abolished.
Yeah.
Well, that one I heard about.
Yeah. So it was the commission one. I'm not sure how it ties into the buyer broker agreement, to be honest, but this is how we do it now. So this is how I'm teaching it now. But so, okay. Train of thought coming back to me. So now you have to get it signed before. So I have now since then made it standard practice that I get it signed in the buyer presentation. Because you can say like, okay, I'm going to send this to you over DocuSign. Go ahead and sign it whenever you're ready. But getting people to sign things over DocuSign is, I mean, some people are fine, but sometimes it's like, did you see that in your email? Did you see, like, can I walk you through it? Let me tell you how to do it. And it's just like, so now you just do it there when they're thinking about it. And then this is again why I like to walk people through and make sure they know what they're signing in the contract. Bailey was in my listing presentation where we went through and I showed her, like I did, it's really similar to that, where I just walk through and say exactly what you're signing here initial, right? So yeah, and then you get it signed and you set up a time to go look at houses. So who wants to be my buyer? Bailey, come on up. Ooh. You sit here. You what?
I wouldn't be much of a buyer.
Oh, this is acting.
I get that.
This is acting. So Bailey's gonna make up a life story for herself. And then it doesn't have to be who you are now. You can make up your own, shh. It's super annoying. Okay. Hi, Bailey. It's so nice to meet you finally in person. I know we've texted a little bit, but I'm really excited to get to know you better and like figure out what your goals are. Yeah?
Yeah, my goals. I just barely moved out of my family's house, and I just got an amazing job and I want to go out with my friends. Instead of an apartment, we really just want to get a house.
Nice.
So then we can all just kind of start raising our investments. And
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So how many friends are gonna be living with you?
So
Okay. So would you say, okay, so this is, sorry, we'll do a little pause and everything. She's talking about moving in with 4 friends. So what we really need to dig into here is, are all 4 friends buying the house together, or is it just her buying the house together? If all 4 friends are buying the house together, then we need to make sure that all 4 friends are in the room, right? And that's one of the questions you'll ask, like, are all the decision makers here? You know, some people have parents who are co-signing, and some people have like, or parents that are giving them a down payment gift or whatever, but that would make them a decision maker, right? So, Bailey, so are you looking to buy this house on your own, or are they all gonna co-sign with you, or just rent from you?
they'll rent from me. I'll buy it myself.
Okay. Okay, cool. So is there anybody else in this decision-making process that should be here with us? Okay, perfect. And how have you talked to a lender at all to know what you qualify for, or?
Yes, I was prepared for 6.
Okay, cool. And who's your lender you're working with?
Bobby Joe.
Awesome, love him. He's great. He does lots of really good business. I've worked with him before. That's amazing. Okay, well then tell me a little bit about yourself. Why are you deciding to buy now instead of, renting more with your friends?
Well, my parents are investors and they've always taught me like the pros and cons to investing.
Mhm.
And they always said they wish they started young, so I'm kind of living on what they wanted to do. So like I can start building my growth and then it can also help my friends
Cool.
in the future.
That's amazing. I love that. I am a huge real estate investor myself, so I love to hear that other people are getting into it. Um, okay, so for this first part, it is going to feel like I'm kind of, asking a lot of questions. I'm going to take a lot of notes. So just bear with me and just answer as you will, and I will just take all the notes, okay? Perfect. How long have you been in this area, like here in Orem? Or is that where you're wanting to stay? Are you wanting to be further out? Where are you kind of looking to be?
I've been home about I've moved from Carolina when I was 5.
Cool.
It would be nice to branch out of Orem. I do love the community, so maybe just the surrounding cities like Provo or Linden.
Cool. Okay. Would you be open to Pleasant Grove at all, or? Okay. Cool. Um, awesome. And you already kind of talked about how you kind of want to get into investing young and everything else like that. Um, so describe to me what your lifestyle looks like, weekdays versus weekends. That can help me like narrow down certain good areas for you.
Yeah, weekdays I am working at my other job at Intermountain Collections,
Cool.
and on weekends I really like hiking or snowboarding.
Cool. Okay. Awesome. So close to the mountains would probably be really good. Awesome. Okay, cool. Um, and then so I'm assuming for Intermountain, you go to the office, or do you work from home doing
It's
that? It's remote. Oh, so do you work from home? Okay. So are you gonna want an office in your home, or just work in your bedroom?
essentially that would be better, but I could just work in my bedroom. That's what I've been doing.
Okay, cool. But you wouldn't hate an office,
Yeah,
right?
this would be a plus.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Um, do you have any pets or anything like that, like requiring specific needs?
I do have one dog.
Okay, perfect. So would a yard be better? We're not looking for a townhouse, or what do you is it an inside dog?
It is an inside dog, so a yard would be nice just so he could run around, but also it's nice to get exercise. So a townhouse would be fine because then I could also go on a walk.
Okay,
I'm really open to anything.
okay, awesome. What are some of your non-negotiables in a home? You seem pretty chill about things, but are there any things that are like, I have to have this in a home?
I would like a full bathroom for sure.
Okay.
At least 2 of those.
Okay,
Because of my reason. It would be nice to have 4 bedrooms. 3 would be acceptable. But I think my biggest non-negotiable is a 2-car.
okay, a garage, that's awesome. Sweet. Do you care if it's attached to the home?
No.
Okay, cool. 3 to 4 bedrooms would be nice. Um, and preferably 2 full bathrooms. Okay, perfect. Okay, are there any specific areas, cities, developments, like areas that you have caught your eye that you like in looking at things online or driving around that you're like, oh, this is a really amazing place. I'd love to like be here.
Yeah, there's this one neighborhood in Vineyard. Just gonna get off.
That's great. That's great.
Leaf tree.
Oh, Leaf Tree. That's a really nice area. Okay, cool. What do you like about that?
I like how they have community pool.
Okay.
Also, all the houses look really nice, and I've kind of just bumped into some of the neighbors, and they just seem really welcoming and kind of just nice people.
Cool.
My job is pretty close to there. It's also close to the lake, so that makes sense.
Awesome. A lot of good reasons. Cool. And then are there on the opposite end, are there any areas that you've driven around that you're like, no, not for me?
Yeah, I would say more of the side.
Okay. Why is that?
Just it's kind of far from where I want to be, I guess.
Okay, great. And then you are already pre-approved for up to 600. Are you comfortable when you talked with Billy Bob, Joe? Were you comfortable? Did he go through like what a $600,000 more or purchase price would look like as far as payment goes?
No, not really.
Okay. So that's something we'll want to get back in touch with the lender just to make sure that like, okay, $600,000 purchase price, but are you comfortable with what that payment looks like a month, right? And obviously having 4 roommates is going to be really helpful for that. Do you, what are we looking at as far as like a down payment? Do you have any down payments? Are you wanting to look at grant programs?
I was thinking
Okay,
my
perfect.
parents said they would help pay if I could pay it back in next year, so it's kind of like a goal.
Okay, cool. So is that your 20,000 or their 20,000?
That'll be my
Okay, perfect. Awesome. Okay, do you have any other like financial considerations that I should know about to help support you when we're navigating payments, HOA due, like that kind of stuff? Like, do you have any?
not for me.
Okay, cool. Where are you living at now? I know you said you moved out of your parents' house, so are you in any sort of lease? Like, what is your timeline looking like to move and be into, this new house?
Yeah, it's a 6-month lease, so short.
Okay,
It does expire in about 2 months, so ideally it would be
Okay.
best if in my
perfect. So you're ready to go.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Love that. That's an awesome response. Um, okay, as far as if we don't find you the perfect house in the next month or so, what is the flexibility on your lease? Like, does it go month to month after it expires, or how does that work?
Yeah, I'm actually at one of my parents' investments, so
Oh, perfect.
I'm sure if I could talk to them.
Okay, sweet. I just like to know all the options, just sometimes we find, the perfect house, day one. Sometimes it takes, a few months.
Yeah.
Okay. So as far as communications, what is your preferred method? Texting, calls?
Probably.
Okay, perfect. And we can always, adjust that as needed as well. Because I do like to call, when we're in negotiations and there's a little bit more to be aware of. I like to, get on the phone instead of trying to communicate everything over text. Okay, cool. So does that make sense? It's just a whole lot of asking questions, right? I am going to, okay, I need to, trying to think of what to do now.
What's like one question that's like, I don't know, maybe a little bit early on that now you're like, I have to ask this question because this was such a pain, like a painful road, or it took more time, that if I would have just asked this question, I would have gone down this rabbit.
Communication for sure. I like to go over like, okay, what's your like what communication style do you like? Texting, calling, email. But also how honest do you want me to be with you? Right? Like when we're negotiating and you're like, I want to offer $100,000 low. Like, do you want me to tell you that's a crappy offer? Or do you want me to just nod and smile and nod, you know? So I would say that those two are the biggest. Or so how honest do you want me to be with you, your preferred communication of, or your preferred method of communication, and oh my gosh. Honesty, communication. Oh, and then do you like to be over communicated with or like under? Because sometimes like when I'm working with an investor, they don't what it takes to make the deal happen, like don't bother me, you know? But then there's other people who are like first time home buyers who like want to know every step of the way. And you know, so I find that if you really dig into that in the buyer presentation, then you can have like you can always call back to that. Like, hey, I'm just giving you a call because I know you said you like me to be like on top of it and like you really want me to communicate with you. So, you know, I'm just calling to let you know. Da, da, da. And I always like to recall back to where it's like when you told me this. So I'm just, you know, keeping up with what you told me you wanted, how you wanted to be treated. Does that make sense? Okay. Yeah, was there any other questions on the questioning portion? Elias, you look like you have a question.
I can come up with questions. How often in the last year do you have buyers who grossly overestimate their ability to buy a house? Just out of curiosity.
Often. And the thing is like most people can buy a house, but a lot of people I sit down with are like ready to buy their dream house that's like, you know, $800,000 and it's gonna be like a $5,000 mortgage payment, you know what I mean? So that's another conversation that I like to have where it's like, hey, like this is your first home. It's okay if it's not your forever home, you know?
Their best way to temper their expectations and.
Yeah, I always
them
put
to
that.
accept
I
something.
always put that on the lender. Like, let's get you pre-qualified. Like, let's talk to the lender and see what, you know, what actually is realistic for you and where. And that's why I dove in with her. Like what is the comfortable, like, did you talk to the lender about what the payment would look like and how comfortable you would be with that payment?
I'm not the pessimistic one. The lender, they can hate them.
Yeah, but do walk through it with them, like, because you won't know their numbers off the bat. So you should be planning to walk through with them, like, hey, this is your first home. Like I had a buyer meeting a few months ago where they, you know, they were like, we just want a cute starter home on several acres of land and da 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 da. Like we don't really care where we have to go to find that. Like it's like, okay, well, if you want to live in Delta, like, yeah. So that was one where I was like, hey, like it's okay, like this isn't your forever home. Like my first home was a condo. And you know, that's been perfect and that's been a great investment for us. And so um temper their expectations that way, not necessarily numbers wise, like let the lender do the numbers, but for you just be like it's okay if this isn't your forever home essentially, right? Okay, other questions? Okay, let's do okay, we'll just dive into where I kind of introduce myself, right? So we finished the questions and I'm like, hey, thank you so much for like opening up and just telling me everything about your situation. That really helps me to be able to serve you the best way, and be the best agent I can be for you. Now I'm just gonna tell you a little bit about me so you can, you know, have full trust and confidence in me that I will be the best person to help you reach your goals in this situation. I've had my real estate license for about 6 years, and before that I was doing like office work and assisting for other agents. So I've been, you know, around real estate and in the business, you know, about 10 years. And I'm really passionate about what I do. I'm passionate about helping people, especially young people, start out their investment journey young and like really just helping them plan for a good path forward in the future to help them grow their wealth through real estate. My husband and I are also real estate investors, so we've been in the real estate world and we know how the investment properties work. So I'm a really good resource as far as that goes. I've worked all over Utah. I do specialize here in Utah County and Salt Lake County a little bit more, but I can go anywhere in Utah. And so this is kind of just the part where you just like brag about yourself and you say like, this is why I'm the best for you to work with. And, I'm really familiar with all the different neighborhoods. I'm really familiar with all the different new construction developments going in that can be a really great way to go in your situation where they're offering lots of lender incentives and everything like that. So yeah, do you have any questions about me or why I would be the best person?
Yeah, so you say you do investment.
Mhm.
What would you say like your biggest achievement is in
Like with clients or with myself? That's a good question. So for my husband and I bought our first investment property in 2020, and then we bought our second one in 2021. So we moved right over, and then in 2023 we bought our house. So we have both of those investment properties. And I'm super proud of the way that we kind of gamed it, because when you buy an investment property, your interest rate is going to be higher than if you buy um, your primary residence. So it has been nice to be able to have the primary residence interest rate and payment. And then we lived in that for a year and then we moved out so that's a really good strategy that we did ourselves and that I like to walk clients through, where it's like, let's own or occupy for a year and then you can move up and then use that as a rental. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. That was a good question. So yeah. Then I would go into, okay, let's find a time to look at properties and present the contract and say, hey, like just the way that we do things nowadays, we have to have the contract signed up front. Just so that there's no miscommunication about me representing you as your agent. Are you comfortable with that?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And then I would present the contract. Let's see.
Do you like do online contracts or do you like the on paper one?
I like it on paper. So I'm going to run upstairs and grab this. Will you guys get into group? I guess you could do all four of you, but if you want to go to two groups of two and you just go through and just go through and mastermind what you think questions, like what your question, like what are questions that would be really pain points that you would want to get up front? Okay. So will you work with Dieter? And then you two work, and I'll be right back. I'm gonna go grab that off the picture.
I'll move her. Either way. It's not fair. You remembered my name.
You told me though, you set the expectation. It'll take a few times to remember names.
It was Dave though.
Yeah.
Because I've heard it a couple times this morning. But I didn't remember until she said it.
Nope. It's okay.
I
What kind of
got a
questions?
template and then I looked at them and I
She went overall.
but
Further ones after this, or is she
So you
was
did
like
any buyers
we
that-
learned?
No, I think she's like trying to mastermind. So like, is there anything
about
that hasn't been asked that you would want to dive deeper into?
what did you turn in your
And if I don't have an answer, if you don't have an answer,
Your-
we can ask her or go and
It's-
find it.
So I'm just, whatever. I have them. Since I've been married for 30 years, I'm just trying to.
It's similar to where you are, you kind of feel like you're handcuffed because you don't have your license. So it's like hard to go and do things unlicensed.
It's already so annoying.
It's more about like, it's.
We have a house that's like four houses away from us that's for sale. Wanna offer to run open houses today, cause it's gonna sell too fast.
So is it somebody's like,
Why?
like that you know, like they already have somebody that they're working with?
We know them well enough. We live with my mother-in-law, my wife's handicapped in a wheelchair.
Okay.
So I need my mother-in-law to help with our kids and stuff. Not that we qualify for
Real life, or is that something that like you
So
just?
she walked over and talked to him because she saw it was for sale, and she wanted to walk through it because she's nosy.
Real, my friends do.
And she came back and she's like, yeah, he said that he wishes he had known that you were getting your license, because he already has a listing agent. I'm like, well, that's fine, I can still run open houses and find a buyer and get paid as much as the listing agent, but I'm not licensed yet.
Cause the higher the down.
We have like 4 houses within
Yeah.
like 4 blocks that are all
So it would be.
less than 500,000
Okay.
in Provo, which has been unheard of for a couple years now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And suddenly there's a bunch of them, like, these are all gonna sell really fast. I can't do anything about it.
Gotcha.
It's kind of annoying.
So do you know the
That's
listing
not wondering
agent then?
what it's on there anywhere, but
Not yet.
like I know like I've got a bunch of children.
They're from Remax.
The question
they're
there is
co-agents
then,
for
like, are they more
Remax.
invested in like square footage inside a home, or they?
So is it like?
Have you done that
Understanding
before,
correct-
done open houses for non-Keller Williams agents?
No, so that's where I was more
Obviously, like,
curious that they would even let you do it.
Well,
Because I feel like they would start out
At the open
Unrepresented.
house, at the open house rise we did, Cameron did mention that that does happen and you can do it, and they would still be grateful, you just have to make sure to have a contract that you get the lead, not read.
good to see everybody.
So how do you go from meeting someone at the open house to the buyer consult? You ever do it on the spot, or you always set up an appointment?
Good question. I set up an appointment. Do you,
So that people don't just walk in and.
have you
interrupt
found,
it?
have you found that a lot of people,
Yeah,
sorry guys, I'm recovering from a week.
Unlicensed, I have found nothing.
Okay, okay, there you go.
is that you right there?
Yeah. On a day when I wasn't recovering from being sick over the weekend. Better, just, you know.
Until we get sick and then we'll blame you. Just, it's this. Totally.
I always do it later. Because the thing with open house leads is that the thing with open house leads is that they're really hard to convert. And this is why. Most people come into an open house and they are either already represented or they tell you that they're already represented because they don't want to have you, bug them. There is, I think in April, have you guys heard of Lee Stearns? So she's gonna come do her listing presentation and she does like an open house certification thing. It's a really valuable class. So I recommend that in April when Lee comes, you guys all do her. It's like a month long and she comes on, I think it's Mondays or something. But then anyway, but she's really good and she talks about how to convert open house leads where she just doesn't believe anybody. Where it's like, oh, you're working with an agent, what's their name? Write their name down and then you go and look them up. And then you call the agent and just be like, hey, your client came through my open house, just wanted to like see how things are going with them, what they thought of the house, because 9 times out of 10, they're either not actually represented or you're a good agent because it's showing that it's proving to other agents that like, oh, hey, I'm not sleazy. If that makes sense. Anyway, she does a really good job at presenting it better than I just did. So everyone, I recommend going to that class because she's been an agent for 50 years and is, yeah, and is really good. She's healthy. She's a firecracker. So I believe that's in April, but KW is so good at making you aware of what, what classes are coming up that it's,
So how often, because we talk about not stepping on people's toes,
uh,
how often do people throw out a name? They might have said that they just know a name of an agent. They
Mhm.
might not necessarily be working with them. How often are you giving people free business because now they can follow up with said individual some way or another?
that's a good question. That's a Lee question. Since that's her strategy. Open houses are not a huge part of my business. But there's an open house rise class coming up that everyone should go to because they're really good at
Was a good part.
getting you that. Oh, did you go?
Yeah.
Who taught it?
Well, Camera did the teacher. I guess you go the next time. Happens to-
Well, Cameron's also awesome. He knows what he's talking about. Yeah.
It seemed to me that like, you approach an open